Hey, when you're setting up a project, to learn about communication, leadership, and teamwork, and so on. So you want to learn about these things, and now you do the on-the-job training. You set up your own project, which is like, hey, you really learn this about how to do a project. So one of the most important things, actually, that you succeed with this project is setting the right objective. What really is the project about? Because like most projects which fail are really failing in the beginning. And, if you choose the right thing and, you put the right ingredient in there, then it's like very likely high chance that it's going to happen. So if this project is really about something, what you really want to bring into the world, oh, that's good, because let's face it, you're going to do and experience things where you have to go out of your comfort zone. You have to do things maybe which you don't like, and stuff like this. So if you choose something and it's not really empowering you really greatly, and you're not like you say, yes, I want to do this, yeah, you're not going to do it. You're just going to stop it, and then it's just like becoming, I just made this project, and then it's like, blah. It's not a project anymore. It's like a burden. You don't want this anymore. Somebody's telling you, maybe your coach is telling you, hey, you have to do it. You gave your word. How empowering is this? You gave your word, Thomas. Do it. Just give it an example because, of course, I have done all these kind of mistakes myself as well. So one of the things I did in my thing was like, hey, I wanted to make money. So my first project was about, making money for myself, as well as bringing some good information to other people. But it was really about myself making money. And, it was involving selling. So selling stuff like financial things to people, and it was really going there, enrolling them, informing them, and then saying, hey, what you're doing is like really, and really that's like most people do, is terrible, and offer them something which is like much more valuable, inflation resistant, and so on. So good thing. So, but the problem was I had to go and talk to people, and guess what? It's like, they don't just say, hey, Thomas, come here, take my money. And no, it's not like this. What I really liked was all the training about this, how to learn about people and so on, But then going to like every day and then another day and asking people, okay, which, and like also using all kinds of, things. No. It was like, I had to go out of my comfort zone really and go to people. But it was just like, of course, I saw people like, you try to educate them on financial stuff and they don't really care. They are like, huh? So it's not that everybody is really like, some people are really like, yes, great, but a lot of people are like, so, have all this resistance. And then the problem is, if it's just about you, or me in this case, and making money, for me, I'm not like I found out, that was one of the things I found out, I'm not like really driven so much with money, if it's like, I was living in a really big house, my father had a really big house, and I just knew, if you have a really big garden, it's like a really big thing to like take care of the garden, and if you just sleep in one room, and so I'm not really driven so much about money. Some people are, and if you do this, and you're good, but if you say, hey, I really want to make money and so on, and money is your thing, okay, good, but I found out, money wasn't really the driver for me. So, and that project was about me making money really, and not really so much about other people. And there is really the catch. So if you choose a project and it's about you and maybe things you even like take, for example, you like, making art, your pottery or sculpture or drawing or painting, you like doing something like this, and now you make a project out of this where you do your favorite thing. And then you think, I'm selling my stuff because, it's a good idea, and of course it's like acknowledgement for other people, but it's about your stuff and you doing a thing, and then, like other people come in and so on, maybe, but, that's maybe not that powerful, because again, it's only about you. And maybe you involve some other people and it's a good project, but it's just about you. So now I tell you something. You look up the Mongols, because like every military in the world knows this. If you send soldiers out who fight for themselves, they are just going to die. If you have soldiers who are fighting for themselves, they're just going to die. You are going to give up if it's just your life. You don't care. They fire you. If you have soldiers and they fight for themselves, you just don't do it. You don't even get off. You get killed. No? So even your level to exist isn't really that. So that's why like the Marines and others, like all militaries try to get you together in groups or like have a buddy system, and they have this spirit of we don't leave anybody behind, because now you're not fighting for yourself, you're fighting for this other guy, which you might not know, and he's my a-hole or whatever, but like you're fighting for this person now and not for yourself. And that's already working better in most militaries, So if you can create that, like people are doing something for somebody else, suddenly you're much better off. And I was even doing like an exercise once in a very interesting kind of seminar, and we had to like fight against somebody, like with boxing and kicking, and until exhaustion, 3 minutes or so. We were totally exhausted. And then they came up with a thing and said, now imagine a loved one, imagine you love somebody, and I chose my daughter, and then I said, and they said, okay, now imagine that attacker is going to attack not you, but your loved one. So you have to defend that person. Off you go. There was like almost no break, just this kind of thing, and you were totally exhausted. And suddenly, you could go on for like double the time, just because it was not about you anymore, you were defending that loved one. Okay, now back to the Mongols. The Mongols were in like hundreds of years ago, or like in the Middle Ages, they were the most successful warriors ever. They were like absolutely, and they were they were fighting like this. They had like their fighters, and behind them, they were always traveling with their family and so on. So, like imagine, like your wife and your children are just behind you. So if your formation breaks, all of them get killed. So these guys were absolutely unstoppable. They won like every battle because, they were just always winning their battles. Why? Because they had their loved ones behind, and they knew if we don't win, they die. Quite a motivation. So, what does it have to do now with your game? If your game, and that's like the thing, if your game is about you gaining something basically, yeah, it might work. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it's, like the whole thing is not really inspiring really much. And it's not going to have you do something which is really extraordinary. Like for example, I use for my thing here, like I'm surveying people, so I actually have to go there and ask them stuff. So I go out to people like on the street or in the university. There it's a little bit simpler, the people are nicer, but you go out somewhere and you talk to people and ask them questions. And for example, hey, can you follow my social media? Can you donate something you want? You go out and ask this to people. Do you think this is comfortable? No! Do you think I would be doing this if it's just about me? No, not really. You're only getting out of your comfort zone really and learning something and training and going on. I had like last week I was talking to somebody and the telephone conversation didn't really go well. That guy was like completely, audio stuff is bullshit. Sorry. But then I was like, really? Okay, good. So I was like, okay, what can I learn from this? Usually I was like, didn't really feel well. And I thought, I knew why this happened, But it's like, okay, crap it, go on. Because what is my project about? Hey, it's about this planet. It's about, and why do I do this about the planet? Because, I have a daughter and I say, hey, it would be a good idea that my daughter and her children and maybe her grandchildren can still use this planet. So whenever I'm like stopped or anything, I'm like just thinking, why do I do this? And then there's like somewhere here, there's things around which reminds me of my daughter. And then suddenly it's like, bang, it's back. It's like, okay, because the purpose of the whole thing is to do something for humanity, not about Thomas, it's not about me. It's about, hey, we have a really problem in global warming and we have to do something about this now. Huh? So that's what is like getting me out into action, and if I just, if somebody is like, that's the thing, I have something which drives me, which is more than just me, like selling something to somebody. It's like going to fail. But, even if you say like your game is selling something to somebody, there's like, if you like, let's take this example of arts, because it's really good. You're enjoying doing something, but instead of selling this to other people, have them, for example, actually learn this with you. Just do the thing, even especially children, if you're like drawing or pottery or anything like this, make it your game that you, inside of this, you have other people, like especially children, because they're like really good in this, they're like just doing this, and you give them the stuff and maybe you train them a little bit on what they could be doing, whatever is your experience. I have no clue about drawing, and pottery or anything like this, but you probably could like give them some small hints that their stuff is getting better, and then they're just playing around, and suddenly it's something where you can still sell your stuff. It's good. It could be like getting hand in hand, but suddenly your game is about giving what you enjoy to other people. And then suddenly your game, you get out of the door. And because then there's like people, oh, Thomas is like, really, that was really fun, doing like that with you, So that's like the thing. And the most important thing really is to think about and talk to some people about what is your game? And the name, and that isn't really so much important right now. What is really important is, what are you doing? And for whom? Is it for you? Or are you really providing something to other people where you say, hey, that's really, really cool. And it's not like that in the end, that even nobody notices that you have been there. That's like perfect. If somebody is taking over my ideas and solving the problem of global warming and becoming a multi-billionaire in this, I would say, I've won. Somebody else did the job, right? Do I have to be super rich and, like all these platforms and what I'm envisioning to actually solve the problem? No. If like we want to create an investment fund, for example, but if somebody else is just creating the investment fund better and just solving the problem with it, I'm probably going there and asking, can I work for you? Anyway, so you get it, what you want to get is, where do you really get the power from? Because let's face it, in your project, you're going to have like, something is going wrong. You will have failures. You will have times where you're really down. A lot of people will say no to you. Hey, guys, I'm out on social media. People comment really stuff. It's hilarious. All kinds of these things. So thank you very much for watching. Please follow the channel.